What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna pick back up with my EF Sedan build, and we're gonna try to get it ready for the dyno later this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the EJ8 build series from my friend Bernie. The car sat for 3 years. He brought it over here. We spent a week to put the car entirely back together for him to drive it home last night with his son in the back. We tossed around the idea of getting the coupe tuned, and I think we're gonna do just that. The homie Jeremy is gonna be coming down to Antioch to his shop to tune 6 or 7 cars, and Bernie is going to be taking care of his to get it all ready for the drive. And this week I'm going to be focusing on my EF Sedan to do my entire fuel cell and reinstall my entire turbo kit. So today I want to do the important part, which is the fuel cell, and I did get all the fittings and everything that I needed from B&R. Shout out to Brian for getting these out to me, and I want to button up my entire fuel cell. I want to get the stock tank out of the car. That is the goal. So let's go ahead and back the car up and get to work. I still get a lot of you guys that keep asking me about what that rattle is. That is a twin disc. If you guys don't know, my clutch is 2 discs instead of 1, and it makes that rattle every time you engage the clutch. There's nothing wrong with my transmission, my clutch, or my car, guys. It's just a twin disc. Okay, so if you guys didn't watch the fuel cell modification video, I'll try to remember to link it down below. But where we left off was we made this adapter plate right here to attach the EF fuel pump hanger hat. So you can see it is all secured into this adapter. The adapter is secured to the tank. This goes in place of where you would normally fill the gas into the fuel cell. And my goal is to try to make the factory fill from the side of the car right here to fill from here to the side of the tank. That's my goal. So we'll tinker with that in just a moment, but right now we need to finish up our modifications here. So shout out to Brian for getting the fittings out that I needed, because this is kind of what I needed, but this has a one-way check valve in here, and this is totally not going to work. This was just something to mock up for visual purposes in that video, but now we have the correct fitting, and we have it in a 90 degree. So this right here is an 8 AN to a 12 millimeter 1.25 90 degree in black. So this right here, 90 degrees to point my lines that way, and the thread pitch for this guy here on the stock hanger is a 12 millimeter. So this right here has a crush washer right here, and as I mentioned before, if you guys don't know, washers usually has like a right side up and a bottom end. The flat side of the washer faces the bottom, and the rounded end faces towards the fitting. That goes on. This should thread in here perfectly. Yes, sir. Just gotta be extra careful to not over tighten this, because you can slip and scratch up the fitting. And this is a swivel, so you can swivel it around. I'm probably gonna point this facing backward. The next thing I'm gonna do here is my return line. Normally I'd run the return line to this -10, transition over to a -6, and then the return line would just dump right into here. But because we have this right here, this hard line, I figured we just utilize it. So I believe this is a 5/16, and it's about the same inner diameter of a -6. So instead of running a bulkhead and drilling through here, I'm just going to use a tube adapter to convert this hard line into a -6. So we have this right here, 5/16 to 6 male. This is a male end to adapt into the hard line. So this is practically a compression ring setup, and I'm going to show you guys how to convert this into a -6. I'm gonna grab my tube cutter. I get this from Home Depot. made by Rigid. Nice and clean on the edge. Deburr the inside. Tube sleeve goes on. Compression ring goes on. And then AN6 on the end. And then you just pretty much tighten it all together and tight it down, crank it down to compress that ring onto the hard line. Make sure you are threaded up before you crank it down. Aluminum is really easy to strip. All right, now we should have our -8 and -6 run inline together, down and forward. I forgot, I need to go buy a sock for my fuel pump because my fuel pump is not in there yet. I got my car on jack stands and I've actually been laying on the floor for like 20 minutes trying to assess how I'm gonna go about modifying my fuel cell and the fill neck. But I'm gonna put this off for a little bit because me and my mom is gonna mow the yard and clean the yard up, and then we'll get back to this in just a moment. Feed lines off, return lines off. Just gotta get to the wiring harness in the front over there. Oh no, my beanie. Okay, well, that was not good. Took the wire out for the fuel pump, ground, battery. I actually don't care about the fuel pump that's in there if it burns out or whatever. Just need to drain it because I don't have any big batteries for that Harbor Freight pump. I need to go buy some new batteries for this guy right here because that thing works wonders. I took off this plastic cover that sat right here. This guy, there's a couple of like plastic tabs that holds it in place. This one's actually a screw that goes to the top right there. But this exposed the piping, tubing, fill tube for the gas cap, and you can see it goes all the way down over there. It's like a S shape or Z shape for the most part. And I think this might work out for me. So going to the inside of the car, I want to show you guys the reference. If I just grab this thing right here, put it on top of the fuel cell, it literally lines up with the trunk, which then lines up with the bottom of the tail light, right? Bottom of the tail light going all the way across. The fill neck is going to be way higher than the fuel cell. So I think this is going to work for me. What it seems like is I'm going to be cutting the tubing before it becomes a bend. So this is going to stay the same. It's going to be straight, and then I'm going to take probably this whole bottom section to go straight through the chassis and then point straight to the fuel cell. So I need to see where all of this lands. I mean, honestly, I can just cut a hole and then see where it goes, and then we'll cut this tube accordingly to get it to go to the fuel cell. And I'm not sure if I want to go to the top or just put a barb on the side and then put a hose to that, or do straight metal all the way and then utilize the factory hose here. And that's full. Utilize this right here just to connect the metal to the aluminum that we're going to weld here. And I think actually that hole is going to be somewhere right there, so straight through. Damn, this gas fill tube came out looking freaking brand used. Galvanized? Sheesh. So I accidentally kinked this little tube right here trying to bend it, and I decided to just cut it completely off. I was trying to utilize all of this little tube to get it to the tank for kind of like the overflow tube in case you like overfill. And I mean, if it comes down to it, I'll just put a hose on there, make life easier. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and mock this up to know where this lands on the frame so I can mark and cut. So we're looking like something like that. This hose saw is a 2.5, and this is the only sharp hose saw that I have, so I'm just gonna rock it. Cutting this hole a little bit bigger will also allow both tubes to go through and to be away from the frame so it doesn't vibrate and cut into the fuel tube. Starting to rain, but I'm at least trying to get this section done. So it looks like I can use this little 45 section right here, and then that's gonna point this straight to the tank. I'm gonna have to shorten it down though because it is a little too long, but I think it'll work. So this second pipe right here, this is the position it's going to be sitting in, and once it's bolted up, it positions the top of this tube to the top of the fuel cell right here in the corner. And right now I'm going to tack it up, and I might also just do this back half as well too. Tomorrow I'm going to do the aluminum part because I don't have any aluminum tubing, and I have an idea on how I can make one. So let's go ahead and get this thing tacked up. Guys, I need to take off to the parts store in just a moment here to grab a new fuel pump filter so I can install my Walbro 525 Hellcat. But before we take off, I just got this package from Bull Boost Performance. Shout out to Bull Boost for sending this over so quickly. I need to open this up to grab some of the items out of it so I can send the rest of it to my engine builder, Chris Built Race Engines, so he can finish up the new heart for the sedan. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this open real quick because I need to get to the PO box before they close the shipping counter. And guys, remember to cut away from yourself, not towards yourself, especially after putting a new blade on, because this thing slices like butter. Holy cow. There's a lot of items in here that I was not aware of, and I'm probably gonna open it at the end of the video. So these two packages here, we have, I don't know what this is, I'm not gonna look at it. Whatever this is, this right here, ooh, feels pretty heavy. The main item in this package here, guys, is this Bull Boost Performance K-Series oil pan. A couple of features I like about this is 1, full steel, 2, baffled, 3, 5.5 quarts. So this right here is going to be for the new engine, and we'll disclose more about that once we go and pick it up, which is probably going to be the same day we take the sedan to go get dynoed, because he lives in a city where my tuners are at. I'm actually pretty stoked that this is a steel oil pan, because the engine that's in the sedan sits on the lower setting on the dual height mount kit, and the pan does sit pretty low. The fact that it already has a turbo drain right here in the back, and also probably a temperature sensor port right here as well too. I originally had built my oil pan that's in the car now to have the feed in the front, which honestly it's not a big deal if I was just to reroute the line to the rear. For now, we're gonna run the line to the front, and then when the new setup goes into the car, we'll run it to the rear here with this provided fitting. So I'm gonna go ahead and package this all back up, guys, and get it out to the PO box so Chris can have it ASAP. So if you guys are interested in the same oil pan, man, be sure to hit the link in the description below and use discount code to save 10% off. So what I need to figure out now is this tubing right here, the overflow tubing, and route it with this guy so we can get it going to the fuel cell as well too. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount this back up. So I think I know what I'm gonna do as far as the overflow tube. Instead of running hardline all the way through, because I don't have enough bends to do what I need to do, I'm just gonna use AN10. It is fuel rated, obviously, and all I gotta do is bead roll the end, slip it all the way through, probably 2 inches deep, double hose clamp it, and that should be fine. And then on the tank side, I was looking for a short 90, but I don't have a short 90, short angle, tight angle 90, and I think what I'm end up doing is putting a -10 bung on the side and just putting a 45 or straight, because I have both. What I need to do right now is mark out this right here where it lands on the tank, and then I'll make the aluminum tube, and then we'll pull the whole fuel cell out to weld the bung and the tube so we can tie all these guys in together. So this right here is the old pump that came out of the H2B CRX, and it sat in the tank for over 18 years. Because I built the bracket to have this filter style sit inside the sump of the fuel cell, this filter that I got for the Integra, which is the same for EG and EK, it's pointing in the wrong direction. This angle is on the wrong side. I need it to be flip-flop, where you can see it's pointing this way versus it pointing that way. So I looked online, and the 9798 Honda Prelude has the filter angle that I need it to be in. So if you look, it has that neck 45 in the direction I need it to be, and that little retaining hole right there is on the filter side, where if you look on this one, it's like pointing towards the back. So this is what I need, and I'm gonna have to go and grab that later. Watch me turn this little piping right here into a smaller diameter so we can fit the filled tube rubber hose. $35. So after trimming and trimming and trimming and trimming and trimming, I think we have our outside diameter that we are looking for. So I used a worm clamp, and I drove it down to close the gap, right? Make sure it's nice and even. And then I took a mallet to kind of make this circular again. So I'm gonna zero this out now. $35. That's what we measured earlier. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna weld the seam shut, and then I'm going to clean it up, make it look nice and uniform, and then we'll measure it out in the fuel cell, and then we'll cut the hole to weld this onto. not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right, guys, got all the welds cleaned up. Looking sharp, dude. I'm stoked about this one. So what I need to do now is get this welded on here, probably right at the corner like that. And I don't think I have a hole saw big enough for this. I might have a unit bit, but let's see what we got. Also, a big shout out to the homie Kel for giving me this entire bulk of -10 fitting for aluminum. Snug. That's perfect. Not shabby, dude. Not shabby at all. I read the comments, guys. Y'all said to plug this up, so I think that's what I'm gonna do before I paint this bracket. Guys, do not paint in the cold. So I just came back from the parts store and I grabbed this Import Direct S15013. S15 or an S13. Anyways, I'm hoping that this filter is like the one that I need. Oh, yes, sir. That is the one, Honda Prelude, 98 Prelude. Let's go ahead and get this installed on our brand new fuel pump. This is a TI Automotive, technically Walbro, 525 Hellcat. Yes, sir. Shout out to B&R Fittings. So we have the fuel pump strainer installed, the Walbro 525 on the hanger itself, and then I had to extend this wire to come out the bulkhead. So later, if we ever need to take off the fuel pump assembly, we can disconnect this, and this will be separated from the chassis and stuff. So I already closed the garage because it's kind of late, and I don't want to show you guys all the lines I'm going to be running to the front in the dark. So we're probably going to pick up tomorrow. Not shabby. Not shabby at all. Yes, sir. Looks freaking awesome. Definitely gonna make a floorboard for the trunk here, cover up all of the sides and everything. I'm gonna leave this open because I have a 1.510 Harbor Freight jack from Daytona, and it fits perfectly in here. And normally when I go long travel distance, I carry that jack with me because I take the KRX to LA a lot. That jack is in the KRX and it's been in there probably a year now. So when I do take this car on long travels, we'll have this little spot here for a jack or tool bag, whatever it is. Down here, I haven't put the cover back on yet because when I fill gas, I want to make sure nothing is leaking here before I put the plastic back up. I also did mention that I did rubberize coating the underneath here behind the cover that I didn't do the first time. And if you guys see on the tree, I used the rest of my can to rubberize that cover. So when I put it in, it's going to cover the gas fill tube and also look uniform with the rest of the wheel well. I capped off this side here because we're not going to be needing that, and then I did this temporary 90 down to the trunk underneath the chassis to ventilate the fuel cell. I'm going to change this later because this fitting is not the greatest. It's kind of messed up, and I'm gonna make a loop with this hose once I find a longer one. But for right now, this would be okay just to get to the alignment shop, just to go to the dyno, and then once I get the stuff ordered and it shows up, we'll change it out. Right now, I want to stop slacking and get into my -6 and -8 fuel feed and return system. So you guys seen the previous video of the fuel cell install, we used the Sintley Amazon kit right here. This is a -6, and the other one here is a -8. That's going to be the sizes we're going to be rocking. It's going to be plenty to make, I don't know, 800-900 horsepower. So I'm going to continue with the -8 because we've already used this in the engine bay. The Walbro 525 already has a fuel filter on it, and I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going to place the post filter. I don't know if I'm going to do it underneath in the wheel tub area or in the engine bay. So right here, I'm probably going to do an oval, if not a hole saw, and there's nothing sitting right here. This is where the old fuel tank used to sit at, and we're going to have to cut this section here for the rear diff to clear the chassis. But on my CRX, I made an external hole just to bring the lines away from the diff and all the axle stuff. So I'm gonna drill some holes here, and then that's where we're gonna route our -8 and our -6 to go through. It's important to make sure the fitting goes through the hole, and I think we're Gucci. So this time around, I'm not going to run my lines in the tunnel like I did my all-wheel drive CRX. I don't want it to be too close to the exhaust system or the drive shaft in case any catastrophic failure. I don't want it to burst my line. So this time around, I'm going to run it along the frame rail, this right here. This frame rail right here is supposed to stick out further, but at one point in time, this car was about that stance life, and it bottomed out pretty good that this actually is pushed in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my lines along this here because it tucks up where the bottom of the rail comes out further. It tucks it up really nicely, and for right now, I'm going to use self-tapping screws to screw into this frame, and then once we get both our lines ran, we'll make a bracket to use a riv nut and a bracketry to hold both the lines up together. Okay, so I set up my fuel filter. This is a Fuel-It filter from the homie B&R Fitting, and I kind of test fitted some fittings to see what's going to be a better option for me. And it looks like I'm going to be doing 45 coming up the subframe, this line right here, and then 45 up to clear the motor mount, and it's going to point the line to come up to route with this to go to the fuel rail, and I'm going to be doing a 180 right here. So both my feed and return is going to be on the same side instead of how I normally run it over there. So my fuel filter is going to sit on the frame rail right here, which is going to be plenty ways away from the turbo and the downpipe, which is going to be headed that way. It's also going to have nice access for the feed line coming up the subframe here and also down here to the fuel rail. So I need to figure out how I'm going to mount this. Might use some riv nuts. I don't have any hardware for this bracket either because this is Allen specific, but we'll figure something out. Downstar V2 hardware is the perfect fit for my fuel filter bracket. So I got Loctite on this because I don't want this to back out, and the fact that I only have one riv nut inside here. Reason for that is because the bottom one, I really don't have any space to drill it out with any of my drills. So one with Loctite and secured to the lines should be plenty to hold this fuel filter in place. I mean, if it doesn't, then I'm gonna find out the hard way. Snug tug, and this filter is not going anywhere. Now I've already built the bottom line, which you can see is connected. I need to tighten it down, and then we got one more line to build for the dash 8, and then we'll do the dash 6 return. 45 down low right here. Before I crank it down, I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one connected. 180. Shout out to B&R. He also provided the fitting right here. These are specific to like the rails, because AEM, Golden Eagle, they all have a different thread pitch. So when you order this, make sure you order it per your fuel rail. So shout out to B&R for getting me the correct one on the first shot, because I don't know what this is. So anyways, 180 off the rail. Go ahead and secure this. 180. Zip together, all tightened down. Now the last one I need to do is the return. Same process, guys. Run it through all the way to the tank and tuck it up nice and clean. So I'm just going to go ahead and knock this one out. So we have our feed and return line running together, zip together. I have all the holes riv nutted, like I said. Made some brackets, little 90s, just to keep it, you know, from going that way and from hanging. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Right, we have our return line made up right here, dash 6. 8 filter going into the rail, 180 in, back out into regulator, 6 return. That is our fuel system, guys. And along with the fuel system, I do have FIC 1650s that's over at Nomis Industries, getting the injectors cleaned out, and we should have those on dyno day. We're gonna have the injectors swapped out at the dyno. And man, you know, this shouldn't have taken as long as it did, but it's kind of one of those where it's like, you know, when you don't have the parts on hand but you want to still make progress, you go and buy or go find that part. In this case, I thought I had everything, then I bought the wrong stuff and just been doing a lot of running around, which I shouldn't have. But at the end of the day, it's all done. Well, not all done, because I have the relay set up for this, but I don't have any like 8-10 gauge wire that it calls for the pump. So I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow, like ASAP, because after today I literally have maybe 2 full days to install the entire turbo kit in this car, build the downpipe, make sure everything's good before we head to the dyno. So really on a time crunch. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. The fuel cell modification for the stock fill tube, along with the feed and the return line, now routed all the way to the front. I still have to wire it up. I still have to add fuel in it to make sure there's no leaks on any of the fittings and any of the fill tube, and then we can fully button it up, get it back onto the ground, and then I need to head the alignment shop tomorrow. Before we wrap up this video, I did get a couple of packages from the PO box and a couple of more packages that came from TURBEAUU, so let's open that real quick. These 2 boxes from TURBEAUU Performance is very, very similar to the ones I got a couple of days ago, and I'm gonna open it up anyways, because it's better to know what it is than to not know and let the anticipation build up. You know what I'm saying? So cut away from yourself. Ooh, that was kind of close. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. And just as I thought, this is the TURBEAUU Performance Turbo Guard. This is for your turbo to ensure you don't suck in a bunch of stuff and destroy the compressor housing. This is in black, and this one here is polished. We actually now have 4 of these right here. It makes sense though, because I have the turbo wagon, the turbo sedan, H2B CRX, and this one might be accounted for. So shout out to TURBEAUU Performance for sending this over. I do have another package from them, wherever it's at. So we have this one right here. This one is a little heavy, I can feel it. And this one right here, guys, is the EGDC EK billet collar. This was actually for the homie Bernie. I told Bernie about this. He's gonna come back. We're gonna install it. This is the billet collar from the steering rack to the firewall where it goes into the steering column. And if you guys remember, Bernie's EJ does not have a collar at all. He said he tossed it when he threw away the EK subframe. So we're going to be installing this to cover it up so we don't have a lot of heat and debris, rain and water and rocks go into the cabin. I like that this is a two-piece design, so that way you don't have to like entirely take apart the subframe and the steering rack. So we'll talk more about this when we get to installing it. Pretty nice piece if you ask me. Oh, and one more thing. I just saw this. So this is a shift knob sent over from Bull Boost Performance. It's a nice little koi fish right there. That's pretty cool. I like the whole Japanese theme thing because obviously you guys know I love traditional Japanese tattoos and meaning behind a lot of this. And this shift knob is pretty sick because one, it's black, and secondly, that koi fish that's right on there. I might end up using this on the H2B CRX because I think it really flows with the interior. And I like that they also offer different thread pitches for different chassis. Don't know what the threads are for though, honestly, but you can always check their website to see what's listed in the description. So if you guys are interested in any of the Bull Boost item I just showed you guys already know, link in the description below. The two packages that came from the P.O. box, let's go ahead and open the smaller one first. This one came from Honda Daddy _88. On the front right here, it says real-time 4-wheel drive. That's a pretty sick holographic sticker. But let's go ahead and open this up. The sticker is so nice, like I don't want to cut through it. But I kind of have to. Or not. Aw. Aw. That was dangerous. At least it's in one piece, so I could probably stick this up here somewhere. Bubble wrap, bubble wrap. Dana just wanted to drop you a few things I make for older Hondas. My IG is none_of_a_kind. His eBay is also TURBEAUU.405. I can't read. Sorry if I butchered it. CRX decals will be available soon. Hope all is well. I will say though, I do like the pen that you use, and secondly, the penmanship. Pretty nice. So this right here is 88 to 91 EF Sedan center garnish gasket set. It literally goes all the way across. Marquees. But anyways, I appreciate this because I was going to take off the taillights to polish them out. And this is going to come in clutch for when I put it back on. This package right here says EF Sedan. And what is this? Oh wow, look at that. It's got my name on there, dude. Young Static VTEC dog. What is this for? This is this is for the third brake light. Yo, say less. You can't that shit's sick. Imagine if I had the third brake light wired up to VTEC and every time I crack VTEC this will light up. Imagine. And then we have this one here, 9701 third brake light cover for CRV. Yo, this one's sick. You guys see that? It's got that sick CRV font that you normally see on the side of the doors, the sticker. Pretty cool. I appreciate that. What are you trying to gesture me to build a CRV in the future? Huh? This right here is, please watch the video before removing any of the adhesive backing. This is much easier to install. So this is for the personal box. If you guys ever seen the JDM personal boxes, they have the red inner lining. This is pretty cool because it's like a perfect cutout to fit into the the personal box corn tray thing. And he also included the front sticker that goes in front of that. This is definitely, well actually, you know what, I have the JDM lower console. I don't even have a coin. Oh dang it. But anyways, I appreciate you for this. I know my other cars definitely have a coin box. I don't know if this is universal, but oh, I mean, it's for a CRX, so technically it can fit the KRX. So probably use this for the KRX, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. The last one in this box here is installing your decal. It's a decal Oh wow. Wow, look at that. Civic VTEC. This is what you normally would see on like the EF hatchback taillight, the Civic VTEC. But who says you can't use this on the sedan as well too? It's the same font literally. And I'm definitely gonna rock this on the sedan taillight for sure after I polish it. And then we also have, I believe this is like an EG Civic SI sticker. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And then we have this sick real-time four-wheel drive sticker right here that's probably going to go on my EF sedan as well too, man. I can't thank you enough, brother. I appreciate you for sending this over. I will post your IG and your eBay account in the description below. If you're interested in anything that I just shown you right now, be sure to check those links out. Last package right here on the floor is from Delwyn from Gainesville. When I first got this over the counter, I was curious of why it was making so much noise, but hopefully whatever is in here is not broken. So let's go ahead and open it up. Wow, okay, well, everything was just tossed in here. Okay, cool. So first things first, dump tube. We have a dump tube for probably a 44mm wastegate, because this may look a little too big for a 38. Shout out to you for that, because you know me, whenever I need something that comes in clutch, something like that definitely comes in clutch. We have, this is a parking pole. What? A parking pole. Yo. This right here, a flange for probably an HKS blow-off valve, because it does have the snap ring and the groove for the O-ring. It's on the 3-inch tubing. You guys know me, I got a couple of HKS blow-off valve without flanges, so this will come in clutch. This right here looks like a PCV relocation for a H22, right? You put it on and then you relocate it to the side instead of having it stick off the valve cover. Appreciate that. Here we have, this is something you see for the fuel tech guys. This is a C101 plug pigtail. This is something that you have to wire in yourself. So just B sub flying lead is what it says, and I don't know, this will come useful one day. And then here we have this is a conversion harness for an EF SI chassis because of this plug, and I'm not sure if this is a K or a B because they both share the C101 plug, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I appreciate you for this. Mucho gracias. And then this one here is, it does not say, but it is a flange for something. It looks like a flange for a tile blow-off valve right here, but I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is an adapter to like a Subaru or a Welding type of flange or what, but you know what I mean? It'll come in clutch for some. So this one right here is a 4-bolt 3-inch flange adapter to a V-band male interlock. I might need this, I'm not sure, but this will come in clutch as well too. This one right here, parking pole switch, say less. And then last but not least, we have, okay, I do not have this one, 2 CRXs. We have this one here, 85, brand new in the case. Appreciate that. I think I have, no, I don't have this one. This is the turbo one. And then the 88 CRX, which is in blue, and I don't have this one either. I appreciate you for these guys right here. Definitely going to be adding this to the wall in my room. Shout out to everybody who sent all this to the PO box and everybody else who has sent anything there. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart, for real, for real. But we're going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the progress update on the EF Sedan, the fuel line, the fuel cell modification. If you guys did, man, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for a full turbo kit install officially, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.